It tells me I'm live. I'm 100% live. Thank you very much for Stephen Quinn for coming in very quickly with lots of whiskies. Cheers, mate. I'll take a whiskey like if I had the opportunity. I'm literally just stopped. So, Sláinte, good evening. Welcome to tonight's chat. We are literally, I don't know how many times, and maybe someone can count. I don't know how many times we'll use the word Tipperary tonight, but I guarantee if I say it more than 3 times, they pay me lots of money. Like, so Tipperary, that's twice. And yeah, proper excited to talk about Tipperary tonight. Unreal. And we have, well, global sales and marketing manager, such a title. One of these titles that, you know, people are given to give them grandeur and make them feel super important when they join fantastic brands and distilleries. But fair enough. I mean, Stewart Quail definitely has a background in the sector. You know, he's a well-known face. So happy to get him involved. So we welcome him on. Stewart, you happy to come in? He's got his thumbs up. That's good. Let's bring him on. All right. Stewart, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Super. And we've got some lovely people saying hello. So Jonathan saying hi, and William also, Connor. Sláinte from Robert over in Spedden. Field potching in the glass. Field potching in the glass.
Potching. It's the potching, the 50-50 potching. It's
go.
kind of gone now. It's all, you've savour that. Savour it because it's kind of all gone.
He doesn't savour drinks. He just goes for it. Swedish guys know how to drink, like, you know. Walking about there. Evening from Liam, how are we? And also Michael, yes, great to see you. Another day closer. Do not remind me. It's literally a week tomorrow. It's maddening how quickly it is now tumbling. But once Stewart comes off tonight, we do have some interesting news, or we'll talk about it later on. We'll keep Stewart on because he doesn't have any other business to take care of. So
no, not at all. Never.
We'll chat about some stuff later. But today, it's all about Tipperary, and it's one of those distilleries. I mean, I had last night. I had another tea on last night. I had Kevin Piggott last night on from Tullamore. He was some crack. I enjoyed that conversation. Someone messaged me today actually saying, "Did you just say Kevin Piggott can flex?" I did indeed. Have you seen that boy? He goes to the gym. He's got muscles, like, you know what I mean? Here, fair play. You know, I'm lazy. I don't do that stuff. You don't see me at the gym. Oh no, I don't pay 25 quid a month to run around on a treadmill. No, I'd rather run about the street and someone pay me 25 quid. Do you know what I mean? Neighbour. So fair enough. You've joined us for the festival, and do you know what? I'm really chuffed that you guys have joined us. I really appreciate it, and I know there was maybe some humming in the hand because, you know, sometimes people maybe don't know what the Whiskey Week's about. Maybe they don't know the festival. Maybe they don't know what's going on, and it's got legs. I mean, it has moved and grown very quickly in the last couple of years, which is beautiful. And at the moment, it just keeps on moving and it keeps on growing. And today, I suppose, where are we in terms of production? I just want to put that out there, Stewart. Where we are in production terms is we have probably only 2, and over the grand scheme of things, we've got 36 bottles which are not with us at the moment, which need to be bottled. Everything else is bottled. So we have literally now used very close to 18,000 miniatures done. All boxes are taken up. And we are, and someone I think today might have got, or if they've not got it today, but we did send out our first set of boxes today, which is interesting. And the rest are now, they'll start to go out. So we're at the end of production, start of, you will start to receive the goods. And yeah, so it's a strange, virtual festivals like this are very strange, I think, because we're used to going to exhibitions. We're used to turning up and going around rooms. Yeah, we don't have that weight and that expectation level because it's never happened before. There's a lot of people messaging me constantly saying, "When am I get my box? When am I get my box?" Listen, lad, tell you what, the best way to answer that question is, did I get my box in time? If I didn't get my box in time, then you've got an issue. We've got a problem. So, because actually, do you expect the guys at Dublin Live to give you the whiskey in advance before you turn up to Dublin? Yeah. No, you don't. Yeah. So just relax. Take it easy. Take it down a level. So I can know. And look, so you guys, as a distillery, we're like, well, what's Belfast Whiskey Week all about? What's this festival about? And
Well,
do you know
you
what?
knew yourself. We
Yeah.
talked about this a number of years ago. When you first did your first one, we had a long conversation, and I was in Mulligan's at the time. And that was the kickoff of it, and then it just grew from there. So I kind of knew the backgrounds of it. And when there's nothing else happening this year, I was like, yes, we need to be up there, need to be doing it. Now we are small enough, and the rest of the team were saying, well, Belfast, like, what do we have up there? Is it a market we want to go into? Is there big sales? What is it? No, it doesn't matter about all that. We just need to be with Paul. We need to be up there. Definitely need this. Has to be a big thing. Just get our name there.
Oh.
But again, as I said, very small distillery, doing very small production. We can't fit in with the big guys and do a 9-packer or a 6-packer or anything else. So just did the 3-1. But it's a nice introduction to what it is.
It's a fantastic introduction set. I mean, for those that haven't, caveat something, Stuart, we put a pause on sales to do an audit yesterday.
Yeah.
And that was really important for us because it just allowed us just to slow down because we're going into that, we want to get the boxes out. So knowing that we've got stuff going out to literally countries around the world, we're just like, okay, put a pause on it. Let's see where we're at, see what we can do. But for those that don't know, and they'll know soon enough because the sales will go back on very quickly. But it's a fantastic set. You've put some curveballs in there. Didn't see that kind of coming. So I'm excited for the actual introduction set, and it's at that kind of stage where I think it gives you an opening to Tipperary.
Yeah,
we've drunk Tipperary, and I think we pride ourselves in the club here in Belfast of drinking as much whiskey as possible from as many brands as possible. But we've gone through those, whiskies. I actually used Tipperary last year. Without permission, sorry. Used Tipperary last year in the festival as part of our wine and whiskey tasting. So we paired off last year one of the Leoville Barton wines against a green spot. We paired off. What else was in there? Oh, we did Did we do a bourbon? I think we did a bourbon and a bourbon. So a bourbon and a bourbon cask whiskey, and then there was a couple of other things. So. But there was a special bottle in there, and it was the Tipperary red wine cask that we threw in there, and we've actually tasted, because of the way in which Tipperary has been marketed. I really like the kind of cheekiness about the names that were written on the bottles. I thought it was a bit tongue in cheek, some of the stuff, maybe playing with people's emotions slightly. Really kind of, is this Irish? Of course it is. We're talking about the rising and the. We've got there's some emotive branding going on there, but that was lovely because a lot of that, it's an introduction as to what the distillery was going to be about, and I think that was nice seeing some of those different caskings and using the cask to influence the whiskey. It was great, so it was lovely to see, and yet now we're in that position whereby the stuff that you've provided for the festival again, is what to expect, isn't it? Is what to expect.
Yes, it very much is. Yeah. Again, people know our kind of our core range, which was, of course, put out there to get our name out there because the amount of brands that's come out, it's crazy. So you had to be out there to get something a bit bigger. We did their single casks then. Rioja really took off. Everybody loved Rioja. Price point amazing for a cask strength whiskey, 11-year-old for what it was. Yeah. We couldn't keep up with it. It was amazing. We did then another 5 or 6 different single casks. Now, all very limited. There were only about 100 to 200 bottles of each. Every single one of them went. I think there's only 1, maybe 2 shops has it left now, and that's only a couple of bottles they've got. So they all went like crazy. And I've got phone calls and emails every day going, "Have you got this one?" I was like, "It's gone. I'm sorry. You might get it here, or you might get it in the auctions, or you might get this. I'll go on. Do us a favor. You must have one there." Like, I can't really go into the back and get one.
No,
it's like, a collector. You'll have one. Yeah, they're mine. I want them. I'm not changing my bottle.
It's a nice collection up above your head.
Yeah.
No, it's. Do you know what's been nice about that? Again, the branding has been on point. I think when the first time I physically saw a bottle of Tipperary, I was like, here, what's going on here? What are these guys all about? First of all, you're placing the name as well. So it's Tipperary's a place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a nod to the area. It's not like, in some respects, it won't be like Ecklandville Distillery when it has its product, because Ecklandville will be, although it's an area, but it's more going to be concerned with that. Tipperary is a large part of Ireland. It's got its own. Everyone knows what Tipperary is. It's been sung that many times. Everyone knows what Tipperary is all about. Great GA clubs and the likes down in Tip. And look, there's, to see a Tipperary distillery, it's going to be super. To see something like that happening is going to be great for the area. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. So I thought the branding was good, and it was visually nice. I like that it's got the wee tree on it.
Yes, that's right. That's what when you come into the farm, that's what this massive tree. It's been there for 100 years. So it's two trees actually together, but that's what you walk through the middle of them.
Well, there you go, and that's awesome. I mean, that's it's awesome, and it's got that. As I say, I was drawn to it. I've been drawn to the flavors. They've been great. We've never had a bad one in the club. So fair play. Picking up good stock and manipulating it is very important. I'm liking what you've done now, which I think has only happened in the last year, which is that you've taken your own mash bill, had it made elsewhere, yes, and done for you, yeah. That's cool.
Well, again, we didn't have our distillery up and running at the time.
Yeah.
Will wasn't on board with us at the time, and now we have. Of course, we got Will on, and we're throwing out liquid like every day. He's mashing away there, no problem. And we've got our stock line down now, but of course, it takes a while for that to mature. But everything's coming through now. Like we've had liquid there. It's most of our liquid that we actually have done ourselves. It's now nearly 3 years old.
Oh,
so
really
there's 3.5 years. Actually, there's one that's coming up 4 years old. So yeah, it's great to see it.
Coming home, is that what you just said? I didn't hear you say that.
So it's coming home, yeah.
It's coming home by.
It's coming home. Don't put that in word. I can't use that again. No way.
I titled this Sláinte, it's not a long way. And it's not a long way. It's not a long way from having Tipperary whiskey in our glasses. We're not a million miles away from it.
No.
Like what I was said and mentioned to Kevin. Those guys are in a position whereby they've come of age.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about the percentage of the amount of stock they're going to be using outweighing the bought and the sourced stock. So you're not going to be too far behind that race. There's a lot of distilleries that are still in that production, just creating their business. Look up north, Hinch are just turning taps on. You guys are 3 years down the road. It's there's people at staggered starts in this race to get the great whiskey out there so we can all taste it. I'm loving the rainbow effect here, and it really is this, which is I'll be able to pick up, and no joke, probably in the next few years, not even 10 years, but in the next few years, I'll be able to pick up a glass, side by side and go, right, we've got some County Down liquid here, we've got some, Antrim liquid here, we've got some, County Louth liquid here, we've got Tipperary liquid, we've got Dublin liquid, and actually see the changes rather than being drawn to the same spirit, which has been manipulated all by, lots of people. And again, very hard to destroy a good coulee and a good Bushmills.
Yep.
Hard to destroy, guys. Know what I mean? So it'll be nice though to see this rainbow effect. We can just go red, yellows, pinks, blue. It's going to be like Skittles. I always say, I talk about love, Stuart, in a really strange way. I talk about love being like Skittles. Do you know what I mean? Like you can love your daughter, like these little blue ones. You know what I mean? Or you can love your granny, the wee green ones, and you can love your wife, the red ones. But you can love your mate, the orange ones. They've all got the different. Love's very important. Has lots of different meaning. I think this is the whiskey coming to us. It's the rainbow effect. It's lots of different choices, lots of different flavors. Lots.
Think about it. There's a good way to look at it as well. Yeah. Very much so.
We're just going to be. Oh, I think we're do you know what? Choice is a very important thing in life. Yeah, freedom of choice. But here there might be too much choice. Surely, we might get to that point.
Never too much.
Get to that point. Eh? Jimmy's going to be like going right. What do I want tonight? Do I want a single pot still for? I don't know. Do I want a single pot still from all the way down in Dingle, or do I really want a single pot still from, the Cumber? What one do I want? And it's a face off. We're going to have proper face offs between some whiskies, So, what's the plan, Stuart? Explain to me. What's the plan? Is it going to be a mixture of single pot still releases? Is it going to be because you've got Will there, so there has to be a single pot still. So I mean, we would be talking.
The single pot still will not be very far down the line. Wow. It won't be very far down the line. So just watch the space. That'll be the kind of next big thing to come out. Good. We've got a load of things on the burner at the moment, but I think that's the next one to pop.
And tell me this, local to yourself, am I right in saying, you've got crop?
Oh, Jesus, yeah. So that's the Hearn on the farm.
Yeah.
They've had that in their family now for, I think it was 200 years. He's fifth generation farmer on that land. So that's all their own barley and everything else. It's all done by themselves.
So nearly single estate, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
really single estate stuff. And that's going to be, the intention is, I doubt very much that will be 100% production because of the amount of stuff you'll have, but there'll be parts of that production which will be 100% single estate.
Oh yeah, very much so. The only thing we're not doing at the moment is the actual malting, but we hopefully get something for that because we actually have to put it away down to Kildare to get malted.
Yeah, well. I think there's going to be exceptions to certain rules, isn't there? There's going to be exceptions to it. We've got some comments. I just want to just go backwards and see what's going on here. People are obviously looking forward to your tasting, which is great. It's not a Tipperary accent. Are you talking about me? I know I've not got one. No,
we should swap places. I'm from County Down. I'm from up there.
Listen, you don't need a Tipperary accent to work for one of the best distilleries in the country. Let's put it that way. Has there been a Tipperary baby yet? I don't believe so. She's still cultivating.
Not yet. So September.
Super. Proper. Proper excited for her. Absolutely. Brilliant.
Very much so.
Okay, that's great. Let's see if there's something else. Let's have a look. Peter's saying hi. Good evening, Peter. So I didn't even notice you there. Super stuff. The first and only single grain I've ever gone and actually bought as a direct result of a tasting. Yeah. And that's interesting. That 9-year-old single cask 627 was actually advised. I'll shout out to Chris Hennessy who advised me to grab one as well. I believe that that there's been a big hoo-ha about this single grain.
Yeah.
I'm a massive fan. Those that know me of the Greenore 8-year-old. Massive fan of that single grain. So I like single grains. It's nice to go and find a good single grain. So yeah, I'm glad Connor did that.
Yeah, it's a great one to have. Again, limited as well, so that was a really good find for him.
Tipperary turns an already amazing Bushmill liquid. Oh, right. So yeah, Jonathan's saying you already use the Bushmill's liquid and make it also better. The own barrel release is also a top-notch product. He's saying. So there you go.
That's our own. Yep.
And this is the one. This is your barley. You sent it off elsewhere, and it comes back. I just think that's a lovely process. And I know that there's a couple of I know that G&D have been doing it for people. They've been doing it. And they're very accommodating in that respect, aren't they? And they're certainly that support from G&D is really helping the industry. Do you know what I mean? It's allowing that to happen. I also think it gives you the opportunity to experiment with your mash bills, before you do it in your own distillery. Even it even gives you those kind of opportunities. Now,
it wasn't D&D we used now for this one, but
well, Stuart, I wasn't gonna hold on.
I thought you were saying that was actually for there. I was like, no, I'm not.
I'm not giving. Yeah, it's up to you to talk about it. I'm talking about that we have.
There is that option.
We have that. That people are willing to do that, and I know that.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, and I know that some even like the Copeland up here have broken production to help someone else, create something. And I think that's lovely that they can help people, to do that. So yeah,
That's brilliant.
Tell me this then. So at the moment, we've got 3-year-old liquid lying about.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's closer to 4 years.
Yep.
Are you as a distillery? Are you in the same mind frame as some of the other ones, which is saying, do you know what, we're not going to release it until we know it's good enough? Because I like that attitude.
We have, like, as I said, we're very lucky to have Stewart Nicholson on board. Like, he's 40 years plus in whiskey in Scotland. He's managed a number of places like Highland Park, and, all the massive names, Balvenie, places like that. So he exactly knows what he's doing. So he does all our barrels, everything else. He knows when it's ready. If it's not ready, then it doesn't go out. Jennifer, again, she's lived this life for a long, long time. So she knows exactly what's going on as well. So we're very lucky to have that team behind us.
It's a pedigree team. It's
Oh my
pedigree, isn't it? And we're going. I
We
think
just have to have the low life like me in as well, just to even out of it.
they brought in listen, bringing yourself in. Listen, I think it's a great acquisition for the distillery. I would also say that bringing Will in, some with that amount of passion and theory knowledge is history knowledge as well is very important. But so it's a nice team that's been built. It's nice to have those different levels of experience and knowledge, and I think. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm excited for the project. I'm
it's a
excited
great
for what's
thing to
going
have. I was always a big fan of it. Even when I was in the shop, even when I was in the bars, I was always a big fan of it. That just shows you if you drink enough of the whiskey, you get a job. But no, I love what they're doing. I love the whole story behind it. I love the team. Like, I met them a couple of times, and like there's only 5 of us now. There's only 3 before, and then they brought me in on. So there's only 5 of us. So it's very, very small. But yeah, everybody's so passionate about what we do.
Small team, but big plans, big kind of
Big
plans. Tell me this: what about people? If they can they come and visit? Can they come and see the place? What's the crack?
Yeah, at the moment, we haven't really finished off the distillery, so it's not really open for public. But we don't turn anybody away. So if you give us enough heads up, we'll sort something out for you.
Yeah, and look, I know at the moment things are a wee bit, strange in terms of people even going to businesses. I know that businesses aren't allowing people in all the time either. So there is the COVID fear, the COVID factor that we have at the moment. But I think it'll be nice. It just seems like if you're doing a tour of Ireland, I think even if you're just a romantic about Ireland alone, you're going to go to Tipperary. Tipperary is going to be like it must be a tick box for most American tourists, I presume, that they go here. Yeah, Tipperary. We're going there, pal. We're going to go and see what happens there. So it'll be a nice part of the local tourism to have a distillery which is functioning for visitors. I think that'd be really nice.
No, we will. Like, as I said, the distillery only got finished there at the end of 2020. So, like, it's not that long up. Again, with everything that happened, we couldn't have that many people in to have builders like that. But we will have something up and running. We've got the distillery up and running now, which we're doing quite well. But there's still a bit more work to be done to make it a visitors centre.
Good. Jonathan's asking quick questions. Are there plans to expand the Big Field Potchine?
The potchine at the moment, we haven't really talked about the potchine again. It went okay. It went well. There was a good comeback on it. But again, it sat for a wee while. It sat for longer than we thought it was going to sit. There's never say never. We might do another one. Again, what's really interesting about it is yourself. For the weather, for everything that's happened to the grain, it changes, and every of them flavors come out. So to do another one to see how much that would change from barley to barley, it'd be amazing to try, or even try one of the other fields.
Yeah, that's it. Try another field even.
Yeah, never say never. So I might have something.
I think potching in a big way is making a statement. And I think we're going to see. And I do generally think that it's a speck on the horizon just now. I think potching, and I think it's there's a lot of people who move into that sector to allow it to grow and work. And I think the consumer's enjoying it. Like I hope that during the festival we've got poaching from lots of different places that it's coming together and people can taste. But I think that
If you want to have a proper experience with poaching, ask Dave in 1661.
Yeah, has he not?
Jesus, I've never met a man passionate about poaching in my life.
He loves it, doesn't he?
Oh,
Absolutely loves it.
And he actually knows how to put it together really well in a cocktail. So well. It's just.
I know. Do you like the Belfast coffees?
Oh yes, yes, please. Just stick it into my vein. Yes, that'd be lovely.
Brilliant, absolutely. Yeah, okay, here we go. So the thing that I love to examine will be the differences between the tip distillate from their own barley and their own kit and distillate. That'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting one. What does I've spoken to this before. What happens if you take the same mash bill and give it to all the distilleries and say, listen, lads, here, going to make me my whiskey with the same starter pack, as it were.
Yeah.
And there must be massive differences in some of these.
Well, there would be. There's going to be huge thing. Of course there is. But again, it's one of them things that you can actually explain all the way through and say, right, well, we sourced this whiskey before because we're only starting, but this is actually our own liquid now, so it's a bit of a change, but it's got all these different flavors. This is a step all the way through. It's a nice story. It is. There was a couple of stories I knew that actually try and marry in the whiskey that they had to what they have now to make that kind of smooth kind of process through. And I don't care about that. I'd rather have the right. This is what we had, but this is where it is now, and this is where we're going. We're going to go up there, and it's going to be amazing. And you can actually tell them where it's all coming from and source everything, or tell them the whole story. So yeah, that's more important than anything.
Good.
Terroir at the moment is the most important thing for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's important. Yeah, that is important. And I think, in fact, I think we have a Q&A session on terroir during the festival. I'm hoping so anyway. That there's some lovely chat about that at the moment and what people may think about, what people may have the wrong impression about as well. But yeah, very important that we discuss it. I'm getting shouted at for eating chocolate this time of night. I don't care. Although it is bad in some respects because it will stop me going to sleep when I need to. Poaching in the Rioja cask. He's saying, yeah, okay, get it. And look, that poaching, one of his top picks.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, David didn't see you there. Hi, evening, and also James, evening. There you go. Will the pot still be current GI compliant or trad heritage mash bill? What's the thoughts there? Or are you doing a little bit of both?
Yeah, probably be more. Again, it'd be great to do both. It really would be good to do both. But that is out of my wheelhouse now. So that would be down to Stewart and Will. See what they're happy with and what they're happy about putting out. Now, I know Will wants, of course, he'll probably want to go back to the history and go the whole trad thing. It's a discussion they'll have.
And so tell me this, Stuart, was there a distillery close by previously? I mean, I don't know necessarily the history of those areas and what there was, but was there a distillery and a whiskey distillery, a legal whiskey distillery, sorry? I
don't know, actually. I'm not going to blow smoke up here and say, there's this or there's that. I actually don't know. I never really looked about the history of the area. Jennifer's probably now cursing me up and down and saying, yes, of course it is. But
well, no, she doesn't. But she doesn't care. At the end of the day, I think it's just interesting because like we look at Belfast and we don't have a distillery at the moment, but we had loads.
Oh, so
right, that's super sad and super disappointing. You know what I mean? And we know that there's in Donegal shed loads of illegal ones, but not many legal ones. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So
I'd say Tipperary, I'd say they have plenty of illegal ones.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure about the illegal ones or legal ones if there was any. I have to look into that. I really will have to look into it with the history at the moment.
I like this. Connor's just pointing out something about the distilleries over some of the distilleries in Scotland, but this is interesting because it has distinctness because of where it is, its area, and also the type of kit that's being used.
Right. I love the Clonleash 14.
Where are your stills from? Where did they come from? Where did they?
The stills were actually where were they actually? They were actually 100% sure they were actually done. Everybody was saying get for size, get this, get that, but they weren't. They were actually what did I say? Not the Kita stills. There was something else.
Are they Italian?
They're Italian. I think they're Italian. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, there's a amount of information that's thrown at me sometimes. I'm like, yeah, yes.
Yeah.
He did say to me, I was on a quick tour. Well, this is this and this is this and this is this, and I was like, yeah, right, okay, yeah. And he said to me, I can't for the life of me just think right off the top of my head. I will get back to you and tell you.
If you like the Clunish, we have I know in one of the pre-1980s sets, if it's not in that, we definitely have. There's a very, very old Clunish that we're drinking in the festival. I can't remember what set it's in, but well worth that opportunity to go back and taste those types of liquids. Yeah, because I mean, as I say, for the pre-1970s Irish tastings, we're sourcing whiskies from literally everywhere and all over the place. And I haven't come across. That's why I was asking about Tipperary, because I don't think I've ever come across an older expression of a whiskey from that area.
I've never said anything. There's quick researches I've done on different things. Tipperary's never really been one of the ones that came up.
Yeah, I'm sure Will would be spouting it on Facebook somewhere if there was, and he probably would be busting his gut to get Finn on a corner to give him a mash bill that must have come from some book somewhere.
That's the next thing he's going to be doing.
Yeah. But you know what? I mean, look, let's just pride ourselves that you have the opportunity to produce your own whiskey. We're going to see that soon enough. I presume maybe within the next 16 months, 18 months, that we'll see something from you. And that's great. And I think that this is a lead-in. The festival is just an opportunity, again, just to talk about the brand, to let you, to come out and speak and let the public, see that, again, wonderful branding, great whiskey that we have got to taste. But, I hope, and I'm looking forward, I'm just thinking straight, I'm looking forward to seeing, Tipperary spread the news spread further afield. And we get you back again for next year. Physical, get you home here.
I wanted to get home, but yeah.
And get you up here and look. I know that Jennifer, obviously, Babby on the way. Probably not the best time to be traveling. So again, get her up next year. Let's see what the crack is. Push the pram around Belfast. Get to acquaint the place. But no, look. Looking forward to it. I am genuinely excited for it, and I don't know I actually don't think there was any tasting sets left anyway before we went to a break, so I'm not even sure if anyone can get one. So if you didn't get one, tough. Or if you got one, well done, guys, super. Hope you really enjoy it, because I know. Look, I'm really bad. I'm going to try as many whiskies as possible. I don't know how many I can drink
in one night. No, it's not going to happen. With the whole week.
I just don't know.
Limit yourself. Don't do that like they've done the very first big one before. I'll try to get all the whiskies in one night, went around the whole table going, yeah, give me one. Got halfway there and was like, I can't remember leaving.
You just can't do it. You just can't.
Nobody can.
You've got to take care of your body. Your body's very important, and you want to enjoy the next year and the year
It's just
after.
greed. It's just greed. You want one of everything, please.
I noticed other whiskies there, and we're not going to name them, but you've got other whiskies, and you do drink other whiskies, and that's
important. Oh yeah, so much.
Yeah, it's important, and it's good for you to mess about.
Yeah.
Apart from what you've got there behind you, up above.
Yes.
What's the go-to? What are you drawn by? Are you drawn into the single malts? Are you drawn into the single pot stills? Do you go Scotch, because Scotch is far more superior than Irish whiskey, obviously?
I have. What was my last one was this little number.
Yeah, I knew it would be something cool.
So it'd be a really lovely big. I love the big sherry bodies. Love sherry bodies.
Yeah.
But again, some of the wine ones, like your Green Spot, the Barton on the Green Spot is one of my go-tos. I think it's amazing. Amazing.
Good,
that was the first one that kind of got me into the wines. And then after that, it was, of course, the Tipperary, the Riaka. I was go cask strength, wine. Yes, that's ticked my boxes. That's fine. Yep. So yeah, I was very lucky for what I did in Mulligan's, for being there for so long and tasting as many whiskies as we did. Like we had a number of tastings in there, and meeting a load of people there. It was great. But it opens your palate so much, and there's so much going on, and it's Irish whiskey at the moment we're going to be spoiled. We're going to be so spoiled.
I think so. I think we will be. I mean, I think we're very lucky. And you know what? There's an appetite for people for Irish whiskey and to try all the stuff that's coming out. I would say as well. Listen, happy if Mulligans are doing a wee whiskey festival this year. Happy to support it. Well done, guys. Good luck. I don't know if they are. I don't think they are. Is it Distill? I don't know if they were doing that.
Distill, did that last year. There was a number of people asking about it before I left, but I don't think with the shop not being open anymore and it being online and things, and Michael's he has to do the bar now as well. So Mulligan's in Stoney Bar's open again, and he's doing his tastings as he does online. He's kept busy, so I don't think there was any time for him to actually organise.
Well, do you know what? I'd have supported that, just like the Celtic Whiskey Fest. If it happens, great, and super stuff there, and it's just lovely to see, because I tell you something, the more that people engage with the Irish whiskey distilleries, the more that they engage with all these brands, the more that the name will just circulate around the world, and people will just become more familiar with Irish whiskey, because for too long it's been left lying about. And I mean lying about insofar as that it's maybe in the back of a bar, maybe you're looking at your Powers or your Jameson or your Bushmills or your Paddy, and you're looking at those labels and you're maybe grabbing one when you're having a pint just for the crack. But now I think there's so much choice. It is in terms of choice in some places. It's better than some of the Scotch choices that we have. There's no doubt about that. I joked a moment ago saying that Scotch is better than Irish. That's personal preferences that people have. But I think for me, there's massive choice right now. And I do see us being at the very start of this project, but here very close to actually having lots more choices, lots more options. And so it's not just going to be label choices. It's going to be flavour profiles, flavour choices, tasting choices that we can all enjoy and spend money on. And hopefully the other parts of the world get that, and they get like, oh my God, I really like such and such. That's a good taste. That needs to be something I go to now. And I'll maybe step away from my usual purchasing, and we'll just focus on some of this for a little while. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's nice.
I think it's a great thing for all these tastings going on at the moment, especially online. I know Ivor and Omar do one. I don't know if they do it anymore, but they used to do one all the time. I was on Twitter. And all these tastings, everybody used to do tastings up. And the amount of people that weren't even in the tasting that went out and bought a bottle because everybody was going on about one certain whiskey, or they loved what everybody's coming out about. So they went to the search service, and then they knew either I was online or something else going, sorry, I'm from, I don't know, say Sweden, and I just saw you doing a tasting there. I know about this whiskey. We don't get it in Sweden. Do you have it in Mulligan's? I was like, what? Hi, what? What's going on? It was
That's the problem when your Facebook profile links you to saying you work at Mulligan's. And that was the problem. I mean, that was the 2 and 2 that made 4. I think Connor's saying that Michael might be doing something in November. So listen, great stuff. Looking forward to that.
He does,
exciting. And he says he's got a few Glendronach single casks. I actually have a lovely bottle of Glendronach. Now I'm very lucky to have had a bottle of it, which has remained unopened, but had miniatures of it, because Glendronach was really good in getting its product out there. What do you call it? Signatory. So before Signatory, Signatory is the independent bottler. So before Signatory, their bottles used to be out of Prestonfield House in Edinburgh. And so the bottles were Prestonfield House bottlings. And if you went to the hotel, you could purchase a whiskey, a very exclusive whiskey, and owned by that point in partnership with Bowmore Morrison. And the whiskies were great, predominantly from Bowmore or from Glengarry. So Bowmore or Glengarry. And yet they also then branched out and started buying single cask from distilleries. So there's a single cask bottling I have of a Glendronach, which is 1980 something?
Wow.
I think it might be 1980 something. Here, quality. Absolutely.
All sherry?
You ought to see the colour of this. It's nearly
Oh,
black.
Oh,
Do
jeez.
you know what I mean? But the wee draft, because they did it in miniatures as well. So
Okay.
picking up the wee miniatures and then drinking that gives you the option to taste it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, but that's something we miss in the Irish whiskey industry. I tend to find we do that less than in the Scotch industry.
What's
There's
that?
less miniatures, less access to miniatures.
Yeah. Over Christmas, of course, everyone's got their miniatures out in the shops. But yeah, you're right. There's not that many miniatures around for all the smaller distilleries. Now, I think most of them's copped onto it. Most of them have copped onto it. And I saw a lot of new ones coming through. And of course, with COVID being on, they can't actually have a physical tasting, so they have to send out the miniatures to people.
Yeah.
So that they already have the miniature bottles. They already have their labels done up, and they went, okay, well, we've got this now. We'll just put them in a wee pack, and there's 3 goes out, and you see them popping up now. But before, you're right, there weren't that many around.
There's just not. There just hadn't been, and I think that I know some people who frantically collect miniatures of lots of different whiskey, and I think, and Connor's just made a point, but I would have reverted back to this that the Powers was the starter point.
The starter, yep.
Really,
small corkscrew and everything.
Yeah, when we kind of got that, so I mean, I picked up some absolute belters of old Bushmills miniatures, and the bottle, the actual detail on the bottle is unreal.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're no mucking about. I mean, ignore the label for a minute. The actual bottles are cool. Do you know what I mean? So, we've kind of missed that, and there's not been. For example, let's start. Let's start to slag off Ecklenville for a second, because I give them a lot of praise. Right? No, I give them a lot of praise, Stuart. I give them lots of praise, and they're very good. I mean, they do some great stuff.
Oh, the boys in there,
Look at all those Dunville bottles that they've done. No miniatures, no laddies.
Do you not get the miniatures? No?
I mean, there's no miniature Dunvilles lying about.
You might get like things like this, no?
No, but that's different. That's not so. That's not. Hold on.
No, here it started. The war started.
I freaking don't have one of them. No.
Oh,
no,
don't.
They're not in the shop. They're not like down in the friend hand. I can run in and grab 10 Dunville miniatures. I mean, it's not.
No, but like again, because of these tastings online, they've started doing these now, and as I said, they've got the label and all sorted.
Here, what one is it anyway? What one is it?
That's a Palace Bar one. Well, it's actually, it's the Palace Bar.
Yeah, well.
What's actually not? It's not. I've been given that.
That's not the Palace Bar one.
This is the carryout. This is Killarney carryout one. This is the PX cask. That's right. John sent me that down. What's that one?
That's the Palace Bar one.
Is that the Palace Bar one? I've got the Palace Bar one there as well, somewhere.
You know what I mean? But but these are sent out for like releases and tasting, just to taste. But what I'm saying is wouldn't you just love them to bottle up a couple of the bottles just for?
But they probably, as I said, they probably will. They've got the label sorted. They've got the bottle picked. I know. It's like
20-year-old amazingness. Anyway,
I'm sweating like I don't know what.
A couple of years down the line, we'll be talking about that. We'll be going here. There's a Tipperary, 10 years old and 20 years old. That's what we're talking about.
I hope so. We've done an 18-year-old so far, so that's our oldest one, which was in bourbon. Really nice. But for to have our own liquid, it'd be can't wait for it. Really can't wait for it.
Super excited. No, super excited for you.
No, if you can see the bottles, like I've got a wee small mini there of that is this wee one, but on the side of it, see the QR code?
Oh, what?
If you ever see any of them bottles and scan that, whoever is a geek would love this. I love it. It tells you the weather. It tells you how it was picked, how long it stayed in travel, everything. There's pages and pages and pages of information about just that whiskey.
Really? So that's nice, isn't it?
That's what we're going to start doing now. So every whiskey we do is going to have a QR code about that certain whiskey and about the weather and everything else.
I think that's kind of. I mean, it sounds geeky, but I think
it's very geeky, but it's so good.
It's quirky as well. It's quite quirky because there's a couple of distilleries that have done that. They've given you as much information as possible, and I think that what's wrong with that? Transparency is excellent. No, I mean, and it's nice to know. especially when it comes to single casking, right? Especially when it comes to single casking, see something like that, and you have a part to play in it potentially. That you've maybe bought a couple of bottles, and you feel like you've supported the brand and you've given something to it. Having that information as well to tell here, if you're passing on to someone and say, listen here, by the way, this wee bottle here, it's not just is it really nice liquid, and not just are we going to keep it for a little while because we bought a couple, but here's the information about it. Like that's and it's a talking point. Be something that we can we can go on and explore. It's not Waterford, it's Tipperary. Really geeky stuff.
Waterford is doing amazing stuff as well. Like they really, but the only thing is the amount of it that's going out. It's every other day there's a new ball.
I get promised by Waterford they weren't going to release any more bottles this year. They told me they're only going to release one more. Well, that's what Ned said to me. I'm only quoting what Ned said. Ned 100% said to me, Paul, we're not doing online whiskey tastings this year, and we're only going to do one bottle. We're going to focus our attention on releasing one bottle this year, whatever it was, this summer. And I was like, right, okay, sounds good. Looking forward to that one bottle. What's it going to be? I know I'm excited for it. I mean, look, Waterford have a lot to keep proving at the moment. For me, anyway, there's a lot to keep proving.
They're young whiskies, but it's nice to see the difference. And again, it's all about terroir with them as well. But the different feels and the different flavors of what comes off, it's really interesting.
Well, I've tasted 8, and I have an R4 to taste, and I have an R4 sitting. So that'll take me to. That'll take me to 16. By the end of this year, I'll have tasted 16 of them, and that's a lot. That's a lot, and particularly only if I look at a distiller like yourself, I don't have that much choice, and yet I do have a lot of choice here. There's a lot of choice, a lot of different things. But I mean, look at the biggest distilleries on this island, Bushmills. Other than that Causeway collection, not a lot of choice.
No, not that much. The only thing they really did differently was the steamships, but that was only for.
Steamships was lovely, wasn't it?
The port one was gorgeous. I love the port one.
Nice to see the expression of the steamships. Nice to see that expression because it just showed you that's their best casks. I think the best casks in Bushmills are quite specifically rum cask, sherry cask, bourbon cask, port casks. They're the best casks that they have. And they showed that. That's a showcase. I like that. This Causeway collection that they've managed to come out and start flexing, showing off, showing off. Like
very much so.
They are like proper like getting flexing on them. They're like here, listen lad, I bench press 10 of me because actually I'm able to do that because I have 20 warehouses up the hill looking down on me.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. No, it's brilliant. It just puts things in perspective. So let's take it back to Tipperary and let's look at this very small distillery comparison to that.
Some of the big ones.
And I think if you get to the stage, Stuart, where you have 4, I think 4 is reasonable. 4 course spirits, 3 4-course spirits. I think that's great. 3 4-core whiskies. Boom. Do you know what I mean? That's lovely. And if you randomly come out with an odd single casking here or there, people are going to appreciate it.
Well, that is going to be our idea. Like we're going to have roughly 4 to 5 base spirits that we keep going all the way through, and of course, hopefully, we'll still keep the single cask going. But they will age over time and everything else. Like the Rioja one that everybody loved has now, instead of it was a 10-year-old one. It was an 8-year-old when it first came out. Then went 10.5. Now then it was 11, the last one. This one's about a 12-year-old, 12.5-year-old now. And see that extra year, how much it changes the Rioja. Oh, man.
You're loving it.
Good. So good.
You're loving it, Stuart.
I am. Because I don't have to buy it anymore. I can just go down and get samples.
That's it. I just get made jealous. See everyone I talk to. I mean, everyone who works in this industry, like everyone knows that I am not this person. I am the person who I just enjoy the banter. I'm enjoying the whiskey. I'm enjoying the crack, and what I'm doing here with this festival is it's
bring everybody together.
It's passionate, and it's passionate, and it's just having a bit of fun. But bringing But having conversations with people like yourself, it does. I mean, it makes me very envious of the fact that I cannot just walk down the stairs and ask, Will, listen, Will, two is
There'd be a long distance for me. I'm in Meath, and they're in Tipperary, so.
But I know, but here, all right. Well, do us a favour. I've got a wee bit of. I'm doing a wee bit about. I'm thinking about what I'm going to talk about next week. Can you do me a favour? Just give me a couple of wee vials. Send me a couple of wee vials up. I'll test that. I can't do that. And no, it's great fun actually bringing together all these brands. Great fun bringing people together because I really think the industry needs it. I think the industry needs, to keep moving, to keep talking. And I think everyone doing it collectively together. Like, I don't mind, and don't get me wrong, like, I understand business. Business is business. We have competitors all over the place. Competition exists. We're totally understanding.
Small island. As I keep on saying, I said on the tastings as well, it's an Irish whiskey family. That's it.
Yeah.
We're all on the exact same thing. We're all there to sell whiskey. We've all got a thing to do, but yeah, we're all together in this.
Yeah, get everyone working together, get everyone to come together. I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. Connor slagging because you live in Meath.
Connor. No whiskey for you. Oh dear.
So what's the Michael Morris, right? Because he's a pain in the hole, isn't he? Michael Morris is asking a no question. He's saying, what's the capacity of the distillery?
Right. So what we have is very, very small. We have 4 copper stills. The largest one of them is 1,000 liters. So very small.
Very small, yeah.
We have 1 mash tun and 4 fermenters at the moment, and then of course hand bottling equipment and things like that there. But yeah, really, 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 really kitchen, really small. Like, it wouldn't be as small as the boys up north, some, but it is small enough.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But again, it's not about the size of the equipment. Well, so I've been told. It's what you can do with it.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, it's about the quality, sir, isn't it? It's the quality,
it is.
Not necessarily quantity directly.
Exactly.
I
had to bring this down.
No, look here, and look. Do you know what? Your family's from up here, yeah. So you're missing the peeps from up here. Yeah,
really
but I think you're in a good. I think you're in a good spot. Do you know what I mean? I think you're in a good spot. I think you're a very lucky man to be in the distillery.
Oh, I know I am. As I said, like, I was bar trade and did the shop for a long time, so this was kind of the natural kind of progression to go into this.
There's a couple of people out there I know, like super well jealous. Not necessarily me, because I'm only jealous because I just can't get free whiskey 24/7.
I was actually this. It was actually my boss. Michael put me forward for this. I think he's just trying to get rid of me.
There's people out there who want to break into the industry, and they look at pathways. They want to look at ways in which they can get themselves into those positions.
Yeah.
So I think I've witnessed a couple of people moving in different parts of the sector, and it's actually been really nice to see. It's been nice that the way in which the sector welcomes people into different parts is lovely. I don't necessarily think that Tipperary are taking a gamble with Will, but I think it's been lovely to see that. Like, everyone who knows Will, and knows him, realizes this is something incredible for him.
Yeah.
And I think that it's not necessarily a gamble for the distillery, but it's something that's, I think it's market leading in that respect.
It's a gain for us. It really is a gain for us. Like, the amount of knowledge in that man is unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. And him and Stewart just bounce off each other so well. So it's really interesting what they come up with. And even the chat sound, just standing there trying to listen to this jargon, trying to follow it along, going, yeah, okay.
Because there's people, that Michael Morris who's still hanging about saying cheers for that. As people have been in the game for a long time. Michael's, I think he turned 40 the other day, or something like that. But he's been in the game for a long time, worked in some great places, worked with some great names, and moved around into different roles. He's in a great role just now up at Hinch. But I think it's nice to see different people moving around. I think we're going to see a sea change. We're going to see a couple of different big names swapping ships, as it were.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see. But yeah,
There's,
it's great to see young people.
there'll be a couple of new people coming through as well, I think.
Yeah,
The
new
ones
peeps,
I
of
know
course.
that they want to get into it, and they just want to. They need a couple more years of experience on different things before they get into it, but that's where they're aiming for, and that's what they'll do.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like you've got some like the new blood, youthfulness. I mean, I'm going to say you're young, Stuart, in comparison to some people
I
in
know.
similar roles. There's it is
The,
nice to see. It's
it's a
nice to
whiskey.
see. I always have keep you young. Listen, I appreciate it tonight, Stuart. Thank you much for coming on. I know that I've been pestering
Thank you very much for having me.
get you on. It was me pestering you. Can we get you
No,
here?
no pestering at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Great. Good. And look, we're looking forward to it. Where are you going to do the tasting from? Where's the tasting going to be held? Where are you doing it from?
So at the moment, we are talking about doing it at the distillery. We just need to find out about timings, things out there, because Jennifer, again, with me being out of the circle, it's very hard. It doesn't want to her being pregnant as well. Even though we've got our full shots and everything else, have to be careful with her being pregnant. So it's either going to be down there. If it doesn't work out, I will be doing it from here.
Super. Listen,
So
we're
excited
for it. We know at least in your house, Stuart, that you have a good internet connection. That's important.
Oh, yes.
Internet connections are super important when we're doing virtual stuff. So look, happy.
It might be better from here actually, because the one in the distillery is really bad.
Right. Well, you may want to just stay here.
Yeah,
you know what you need to do, Stuart. Just you say say to Jennifer, listen, lass, we just need some lovely, boards behind us. Nice pop-up stands or something. Do you know what I mean? We'll move the camera back so we see the whole of you. Do you know what I mean? You'll stand there with your tip, your tip t-shirt on. Wear your Gaelic top if you need to. Whatever it is that you choose to wear. Do you know what I mean? Does the distillery support anyone? Do they brand on anyone? Do they brand on anyone?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment, no.
Get that branding on. Get that branding on a sports team. You see local teams down there.
Should be. Should be. You're right.
100%. I'm not telling you how to do your PR, but
nice.
But I know that there's a couple of local distilleries that have slapped their name onto local teams. You know what I mean? So here you're getting a good look there from Michael Morris. Yeah.
Hi, thank you, Michael. Yeah. I think I'll need it.
When Michael moves on from Hinch Distillery, she'll be a job back up here for you. Is that what he just said?
Yeah.
Listen, enjoy your evening. Peter says it was a great evening. Thank you very much, Peter.
Yes.
He means that. He means that for you. Listen, Sláinte, and I didn't have a drink tonight because I'm mad busy and I've got work to do. So I shall.
Well, at least you're not so me for nothing.
Cheers, Stuart.
As always, thanks very much for having us.
No, actually, before I go, I need to talk about, and if you don't mind staying on, just stay on.
No, go ahead.
I forgot to say, right, so there was a couple of movements today, and listen, I want to say thank you very much to John Fleming. So, John Fleming, the Carriot, as it were. I like that, the Carriot. So there's now a couple of drop-off points in different parts of Ireland, specifically in the south. So there's a Google, I don't know how they do these things, but it's a kind of Google survey going out to people, which is going to ask you if you want to drop or have your boxes dropped off in different parts. So I think we've got, off the top of my head, I think there's Cork, Killarney, Kerry. There might be one in Tipperary area, potentially. And I think there might be also one. I think there's one in Cork. Yes, I think there's one in Cork. Maybe one in Dublin. So there's starting to be some drop-off points. We want your answers on that very quickly. So just a little bit of information there that was happening, and we wanted to, before we sent out any more information to people, that we'd offer those kind of options first. Okay, so hopefully that helps people. Oh, and I would also say, by the way, in case anyone is thinking about if they do go and purchase new stuff or more stuff, that we're changing the prices slightly and removing all of the delivery charges.
Very nice.
So now what I would say is I don't think there's that much product left, right? But we're just going to remove all delivery charges because the problem that we have is if we start to charge delivery charges, we won't be able to rectify it. So we're just going to ignore it, and we're just going to say, well, do you know what? Do what you need to do, because it's just so hard. When we took this audit, it was just like, right, we've got this. If they choose to like have it delivered, we have to. It's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of there's a lot of stuff going on here.
A lot behind the scenes, yeah.
Loads, just loads. And great. Listen, I probably have to give a shout out to all the guys behind the scenes who are doing great work.
Definitely.
So well done to Louise and Stuart and Grace and Johnny and Niall and absolutely everybody else that's just making things happen. Jason, I have to keep on saying Jason's doing a stellar job with our presenters, and actually we'll have to get them on here very soon to have a good chat, because we've got lots of presenters this year. So it's not me. Hopefully I maybe do one or two this year. I don't want to do 96 of them. And that, Michael, is a good point. Michael, it's the same email. It's the same with the same email with the same Google options that you can pick on and click on. But Michael, I think there's been a couple of questions, and I have been flagged. Someone's been flagging some questions to me. If people want to start collecting in the north, we can probably start doing that from Tuesday onwards. So if people want to start collecting, we can probably do that. Okay. Will the rest of the kits go to half price? No. Fuck off, Paul. Fuck off, yeah.
You don't ask, you don't get.
Aye, but you also have to have a bit of common sense. You
Uh,
know what I mean?
I like your thinking, Paul. I like your thinking.
No, we're getting rid of delivery charges. I mean, listen, that's madness in itself. You know what I mean? You're killing me. But yeah, listen. Looking forward to that. And listen, thanks very much for sticking on there, Stuart. And something I had to say before I went to my bed. All right.
To your bed. You're not going to bed. You know you're not going to bed.
No, I've got some work I need to do, and then I'll go to bed. Maybe.
I like myself.
Yeah, it's just the way it is.
Yep.
We live on 2 hours of sleep. It's class. All right.
You get sleep? Jesus.
See during the festival, I don't think people quite understand this one. It's 12 to 12, right? So I need to find out when I will sleep, but I'm sure I will. I'll get some space. I'll get some space to sleep. So although I might not be doing
all the time,
I'll be out and about, and I'll be doing as many of the. I think I'm doing a lot of. Although I'm not presenting, I'm doing a lot of what's that word? There's a lot of
behind the scenes.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool technical stuff with the platform which can happen. So the gamification module, which is part of the festival, which is really nice. We're coming up with lots of quirky wee ways in which people can interact.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if people have received their emails yet. I guarantee you're getting this email tomorrow. So keep your wee eyes on that. You can log on to the system, the platform tomorrow. So that should have happened. I think it might have happened already, but should be happening tomorrow.
Okay.
I pray that you can log on and have a look and see what it's all about. All right. But yeah. Good night, Stuart.
Good night, sir. Thanks very much again.
I'll see you then. All
right, everybody.
Take care.